80,100 reports were never recorded. Why were they never recorded? In this last module, I want to show you how to collect evidence, how to store evidence and keep it safe. Because if anything does, God forbid, happen to your child, then you will need evidence to show exactly what happened and who the perpetrator actually was. And the other thing is to collect evidence between yourselves, because the chances are if anybody harms your child was not the first person they ever harmed. And it wasn't the first incident that ever happened. So if you keep in touch with your neighbours, friends and family, all the other people that you can trust, you can use this website to store any text messages, images and anything text that you want to write about, and to explain what this evidence, what happened, and you're storing it. Because the grooming process in itself is not against the law. And I know when people were complaining about it, that at first the authorities were saying, well, you can't take anybody to court for befriending your child. This was a wee bit more than befriending, as obviously as we found out later, but this was the kind of thing that we could record that now and keep a record of it, keeping a diary of events. They might not amount to very much on their own, but once you get all that evidence accumulated, then it's admissible in court. Now, I have offered this project to the police and to social services and to the NSPCC, and they've all refused it. They don't want anything to do with it. But if you can make all those reports, 80,100 to the police, and they only keep, I don't know, if they don't keep any, if they lose them all, then there's obviously political reasons why they lost them all. So that's why nobody can trust anyone, and if they have anything, if they suspect there's anything on your phone, they will take your phone. So the best thing to do is to always have a backup, so you've got more than one place to store your evidence and incidents that happen. And just the very fact that you're doing that will be enough to protect your children. Be surprised. It's not what you know that frightens you, it's the things you don't know that frighten you. The other part of this is how you present that evidence to the court. And I'm going to show you something now which will be of use to you as and when, if you ever go to a family court for anything. When these barristers, when you think about all these different people, they've been doing this for years probably, and every working day of their lives they spend in a courtroom learning how to phrase these questions and how to ask you questions. And they're obviously very good at it, very skilled at it, and they will lead you into a trap where you finish up admitting something you didn't ever intend to admit. Another thing to keep in mind is that most of the, again as I said previously, in 1983 when they commercialised social services, everybody, solicitors, charities, social workers, local authorities, MPs, they all bought shares or they bought outright their own children's homes and adoption agencies, so that the children that they could take from the court and put into care could be housed in one of their children's homes, or they might be just placed with one parent, the worst parent usually, so that until they can find somebody to adopt that child. Then they'll come back to the worst parent and say, well, you're the worst parent ever, we're going to take your child off you now. But these are people with a vested interest in populating children's homes and adoption agencies. And they're the people you're facing in court. And they've been doing this probably all their lives, all their working lives. And that's why people like you and I and everybody else, we don't really stand much of a chance. And that's where the biggest risk comes to your children. We get loads of people who they want to send us photographs of kids where they've got bruises and cuts and injuries. One even had bite marks from a dog on its head, a little baby. Nothing we can do about that, because if social services don't do it, they already know about it, and if they're not going to do anything, there's nothing we can do about it either. So that's why it's crucial to keep those children safe with their natural family, and we can do that in court. So what we're going to do, as well as keeping all your evidence together, what we can do is we can show you how to, we'll do this practically because it's best to do it over the internet in a Zoom call, is to show you how to answer questions and recognise a question. Just one thing. Remember, when you go into court, if you have enough evidence, you become the accuser, especially if you've been involved with social services. You keep evidence against that one particular person. Do not take on the almighty forces of darkness that might be social services. Take on the one individual that caused your problem, that misled or misinformed the court about you and your partner or anybody. And keep that evidence and keep a record of it, and obviously, like I'm saying, back it up on our website if you can't find anybody to take it from you. And then you can go to the court as the accuser, not the accused. At this moment in time, everybody that goes to court has been accused of something. Well, no, this time when you go to court, we'll go through how to answer the questions and how to recognise when you're being misled. But just for the time being, get your evidence together and keep in mind you're going to be accusing that one person who's accountable for all this. Thanks for listening. Talk soon about this. Thanks. Bye.